Hello, my name is Brandy Hofer. Welcome to the Color Me Happy podcast. I'm so grateful you're here, and I'm very grateful for your time. You are going to feel so empowered with our episodes and our guests because they live a truly passionate life. They're excited about what they do. They know that creativity matters and that your art matters and that it matters to following your passion in life to ultimately see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary. These episodes are almost unedited, very raw, so it'll feel like you're sitting down for coffee with a friend. Feel free to reach out anytime at Brandy Hofer Studios on Instagram and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for being here.
Call your name. Starbucks our sponsor for today? No.
Yeah, it can be if you want it in the shop.
Actually, I love our local Southside Starbucks. They are the best group of people. They're so kind.
They are. I work out of there once in a while when I come. I actually prefer it over Second Cup, but I see that Second Cup seems to be more popular. I don't know what it is in this market, but
I think right now people are really trying to support Canadian
that's fair.
run businesses.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I'm picking up on in our community, which is really great. So welcome, Jonathan, founder of 321 Go Running.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't know why I put a question mark.
Yeah, no, my wife and I are the shareholders of the company,
Okay.
but I guess, yes, I'm the founder of it and she's the brains of the operation.
Really? Okay. So she came up with the whole...
No, she's the day-to-day brains of it. I could not operate an event without her. She is, fabulous. But she's vice president at the YWCA of Saskatoon, so she's got a heck of a day job. But the events that we do would not happen without her.
Right. A lot of working cogs.
A lot of working cogs, so many great friends and people that help put the events on. That's the same here in Lloydminster, right? The Synergy Credit Union Sunrise Run would not happen without Mikey Dubs, Stephanie Monroe, you, so many others, right? I'm just one small piece of it.
Right. But keeping the team together.
That's true.
Important role.
That's very true.
Right? Making those connections, finding the connections in the first place.
Yeah. And Lloyd's a great community for that.
Okay, so it started in Saskatoon?
It did. 321 Go Running started last year based out of Saskatoon.
Just last year?
Just last year. I had the opportunity to form the company last year and started with Step Up for Mental Health. I was able to keep that event going last year with the help of many other people. That's the largest run and walk in the province. It has over 6,000 people in it every September, all for mental health. So companies started with that event moving forward. And then we've created several others in the last year, including the one here in Lloydminster, one in Moose Jaw, one in PA. We're very fortunate that way.
That's a quick, big start.
It is, but I'm addicted to running and I'm addicted to working with good people. Life is short. I do not want to waste my time. I want to work with just amazing people.
Yeah.
And I've been really fortunate to do that.
Is there anything that triggered that life is short feeling for you?
Seeing too many people in my life pass away and wishing that I'd spent more time with them and learning from them. And you've only got a small window and I'm soaking it all up. My life revolves around what are my girls doing? What is my wife doing? And what can I do to make life better?
Isn't it funny that those impactful moments of grief seem to, no one wants them, but they seem to, grow into something really meaningful. They kind of wake people up.
That's a great way of putting it. And you wish you could dial back the clock and go back and say, man, I wish I'd done that differently. But then you have to look at it positively and say, what can I learn from that experience? What can I take from those amazing people in my life that are no longer there and make my life better and others better? I mean, the whole purpose of the company is to give back. Every run that we do goes to charity. Every single proceed goes to charity, not for profit. That's how the company operates.
Okay. Wow. Good for you. It is such a challenge, and those losses are big, I would say.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and everyone's going to go through them.
Sure.
We all have that in common. And this is beautiful because it is mental health, and it is something that everyone, obviously that ebbs and flows for people.
Yep.
So how, obviously you found therapy in running.
Very much so.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. Everybody has their own reason why they get into running, right? You have your own reason. I do. So many other people have their own unique journey. Mine was my lifestyle was going down the toilet. I was On a career side, the highest my career has ever been. I was a journalist by trade. That's what I trained to do. I was very fortunate to go through a great Canadian university, School of Journalism.
That makes sense, journalist, because
Yep.
you're very inquisitive and you asked a lot of questions when we met.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I'm known for that. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
But I was a journalist by trade. I was working in Edmonton. I was a sports reporter, and I was on the top of the world. I was loving every piece of it, but I was on the road a lot. I was living out of suitcases. I was living out of airports, press boxes, stadiums. I had 2 little girls at home, very tiny, and I was watching my lifestyle go right in the toilet. So
food,
food, not sleeping that much, traveling, not around home very much either. And I was a sports fanatic when I was a kid. I played all the team sports just like your boys do. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. But as you get into your career, you don't have time for that. So my body's going downhill, and I decided I'm in these great cities covering sports events. I'm going to get a pair of shoes and I'm going to start to run. I knew nothing of what I was doing, like clueless. But I started to enjoy running. This is 2008, 2009. And I set the stupid goal right when I started to say, oh, I like this. Let's try to run a marathon in every U.S. state. And I'm like you can tell, your reaction is totally appropriate. Like, yeah. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
So sure, I trained myself to run my first marathon. I want to say that was in 2008, Dallas, Texas. Then wheeled back 2 months later, ran in Memphis, Tennessee. And I thought, oh, I really like this. But then later in 2009, 2010, my career took a total change and running kind of took a backseat. I walked away from my dream job, my dream career. I had been given an opportunity to be a NHL writer for the Calgary Herald. This would be 2010. I mean, the job I would have dreamed about as a kid. Like, I thought this was amazing. I had said yes to the job. I was looking at buying a home in Airdrie near the airport because I was going to be living out of the airport in Calgary. Still 2 little girls, barely one going to school. And as a small family, we decided, no, we've got to stop.
Can't get that back ever.
No. So actually literally closed the door on that career, said no to that job before day one, and just walked away from everything I'd ever done in that career and said, you know what, let's move back to Saskatchewan after 15 years in Alberta. Let's raise our girls there, and I'll change jobs, change career, whatever. And I thought running went kind of away at that point because I was searching for a new job, right? Mm-hmm. Searching for a new career. And I was very fortunate. I got a great career in Saskatoon. But what was even better is I met a group of guys who I knew none of them before. They were operating the Saturday morning run crew. There was 10 guys, 10 really close friends, and they adopted me. I was so fortunate. One guy got to know me, said, hey, why don't you come out on a Saturday morning and run with us? And I got to know them, and it has changed my life. Those 10 dudes are brothers to me. We run every single Saturday morning. Doesn't matter if it's minus 45 or plus 31. Same location every Saturday morning. It's like clockwork. 8 o'clock in the morning, we show up, we run for an hour, we have coffee for an hour afterwards. We talk about everything. Mm-hmm. They know stuff that my partner doesn't know, that my kids don't know. It's mental health therapy for 2 hours every Saturday.
And it's regular. There's a reason why Atomic Habits is one of the best-selling books that, you know, there's nothing crazy in there that we didn't know. Well, maybe it obviously is crazy for some people because some people didn't know. But if you run a business or you do if you're every human actually is very habitual. We like routine, whether you say it or no, or are conscious about it or not. We do the same things over and over and over again. So when we create these positive habits or substitute or tag on these habits, and Jen Sincero has a really good book. I don't know if you know her. She's like, you're a badass at making money. You're a badass habits. She has like this she's got a lot of books, but those ones are her most popular. The habits one is really great because you can tag a good habit. Like she gives you the tools to it's very simple. And it's like, I think, I might have painted on top of it.
You said you painted on top of it?
Yeah,
you did actually. Look at that.
Yeah. That's
very cool.
Yeah. So they're super simple and fun.
Yeah.
But this one's really good. And you can tell it's been like tagged in. Yeah. Okay. And she's funny, like very down to earth and funny. Okay. Recipe. But anyway, the thing, you found community and something you love, and then you do it all the time and it changed your whole entire life.
It did. Social fitness is huge. Whether you're a 10-year-old kid playing hockey or you're on the high school basketball team, I would argue that social fitness is more important than the actual physical fitness.
Right.
Yeah, you're out there, you're doing good things for your body, healthy, active lifestyle, all that. But being with friends, family, whatever, you're able to get more out of it. I mean, yeah, we all probably run on our own. We all recharge in certain ways. But if you can do that once a week with buddies or friends, it just makes your life so much better.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why the running boom is just going and going and going. People have realized what social fitness does. It's an inclusive activity. You can be slow, you can be any shape or size, you can be fast, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
You can run, you can walk.
And you can pack those anywhere.
Totally. I mean, people laugh at me. I don't go anywhere without a pair of running shoes.
No.
It's just that simple. And I actually will wear my best running shoes. Like I'm running a marathon in North Carolina on Sunday this weekend. I will wear my running shoes on the plane. They're my most coveted thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's inexpensive. You know what it's like to have boys in hockey. It's a different world, right? Running you can do for less money.
Yeah. And sometimes there's like a track at the rink, or
Totally.
you just squeeze it in. You just squeeze it in 30 minutes. Like it's nothing crazy. Or I prefer outside, like actually track running and treadmill running. It's just not, I need like the brain outside feelings.
So true.
Right?
I challenged myself for this marathon in North Carolina on Sunday. I mean, you would know, you've got to train through December, January, and February to be ready for a March race. Right. I said to myself, I'm not doing one training run on a treadmill or an inside track this whole winter. So I've got through 4 months, all of it outside.
Yeah.
Now, January was an okay month. February was freaking awful. But I'm a bit crazy. My buddies and I, we want to run in minus 50. We've set a goal for the last few years. When it hits minus 50, doesn't matter if it's 1 a.m, 6 a.m, let's get out in the street and run, because we haven't hit minus 50
yet. So you can
yet.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was it 2 Februarys ago where it was like minus 47 for a really good stretch. I don't know if it's 2 or 3, but 2 or 3 winters ago. But it was like, that's probably the only time I've taken a break when it got past minus 40 in a long time. Yeah, because people are like, well, what about your legs? And Brain Sport in Saskatoon, where you work with them lots. Yeah, they have, like Brittany, part of one of the influencer ambassador, for this run. She's like, but my butt freezes. I was like, they have like the butt ones.
Yeah, there you go. Sure.
Yeah,
yes,
they do.
I like that. That's funny.
I'm like, and there's like less expensive versions. They don't feel as good. That's for sure.
It's true.
But yeah, it's possible.
Do you have a running route you like?
I do. I do the same thing every 4 times a week. I run, and then I do weights and yoga.
Wow.
I want to put swimming in there again once the guys in school. Okay. Just because, again, it's that really nice moving meditation. There's something about being underwater. So I'd like to throw that in the Friday routine and sub it for my run. But yeah, it's funny how weird you're stuck to the same exact loop. And then once this, like right now, like Teddy, unfortunately he'll be in school, but he'll come with me for those loops.
That's awesome.
Which is, he bikes, but still.
It's family time.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. This is a great running city. I mean, I drove in here today. You've got a little pass you can run on. Maybe it's a little icy right now, but you can still get out and do it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Proper footwear. Mikey saw me a couple winters ago. He's like, what are you doing? You're going to fall and seriously injure yourself. And I just, because I haven't been a part of the running community for a decade, I've been running my business, doing children. And that is all encompassing. And I like see them passing, but I will get into that once a week club here.
Good.
This summer, like this spring.
Yes.
I am going to, because I do enjoy that. But because the kids will be old enough to stay here by themselves soon.
Yes.
So, or be fine for half an hour, or come, or whatever, right? They're at that age.
Yes.
And so I just had to get through that, because I did do cross country running, and I did like the community in Red Deer. They have an amazing, you probably know, running community and big runs every year and whatever. So you're still tackling the marathon thing.
50 marathons in 50 states. Yeah, this will be number 32 on Sunday.
32. And so you started that in
2008, 2009.
Right.
And I was stupid some years and tried to do 4 or 5 and your body breaks down.
Yeah.
Just because you can't do
Burnout.
that. Right. Burnout, injuries. Then I chased PBs for a while, which was phenomenal. But then you can't keep chasing PBs every single time, personal best, because your body breaks down.
Okay.
You can't just keep doing that to yourself as you get older too, right? So right now, my goal this year is to run 4 marathons. I might try to train hard for 1 and train medium for the rest, just so my body can keep moving.
Yeah.
So I find that my mood, my mental state changes dramatically on the days that I run. So I try to run 6 days a week, 70 kilometers a week, and that helps me keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So some say it's crazy. It works for me.
That's pretty crazy.
See? But I mean, it's
mental health though.
Oh, it's huge.
Like I have a very overactive brain. I think
you do.
Like it's just, and many people do. They just, I would say, are living in a fog.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that in
That's
people,
fair.
or like do you talk to people?
Yep, they're living in a fog, or they're drowning in negativity, or they're overwhelmed. And it just spirals or it snowballs.
Like I don't want to put people down, but like living in victimhood.
Oh yeah.
I would say I sat there for a while.
No, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I have to get out and run. It changes my perspective on the day. And if I can't run that day, I'll hit the elliptical. I'll do something. I'll walk the dog. It changes your mindset. I know I'm a better person. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father if I can get out and do something in the day. And I try to do it in the morning. Try to start the day right. Now, I know my wife absolutely probably detests the fact that I roll out of bed at 6 or 6:30 in the morning because I'm not the quietest person, but I have to start the day that way for a few reasons. You feel better, but your day can also get away on you. And at 4:30 or 5, you might be spent in the afternoon. And you got, okay, what's for supper? What am I doing? And then the run just
everyone's
goes away.
home, and
totally.
Yeah. And you want to see them or spend time with them, or you have to go here or get that, or you're 85% less likely to move your body if you leave it till later in the day.
That's a fabulous stat.
It is.
And I look at, and I had to do lots of research to get ready for the Synergy Credit Union Sunrise Run here in Lloydminster. 1 in 3 people in Lloydminster will have a mental health concern or addiction. That's higher than 1 in 5, which is the Canadian stat. But it just shows that you don't know what happens behind people's closed doors. And for me, I know my mental health gets better when I run. And I want to be the best dad I can be and the best husband I can be. So I've got to look after myself.
Everyone does. I think when you have kids in that early stage, life can just get away on you, right?
Yeah.
You forget to do the self-care thing.
Totally. And as the kids grow older, your running habits or your exercise habits change. The time of day changes. What you can do changes. I used to squeeze runs in when I would drop them off at the dance studio. And people looked at me going, you're that crazy guy that gets out of your car when your kids get out. They go in the dance studio and you run around this industrial area in Saskatoon. That's the only time I had. The worst
area ever.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the only window you had, right?
Yeah.
But now the girls, we've got 3 girls at home. They're all at the U of S. They got their lives down to clockwork. They're doing their own thing. So you can fit it in differently.
Yeah.
But
I'm
also proud of the girls at home because they have their own really good habits too. And I think they see parents and other people and they kind of take some of those habits, hopefully.
Michelle Gustafson, she's a council member. We interviewed her before she got elected. And she says more is caught than taught.
That's fair. I was, to play on that, I was told as a journalist very young by a person I really looked up to and idolized. They said that 90% of the job is just showing up, being in the right place and being a sponge and taking it all in. And it's amazing how many stories and things you'll learn. And it's true. Show up, be present, be active, and you'll catch a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. And your children are going to catch on to your habits and lifestyle. Right?
And
I want to touch on drinking a little bit.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you feel comfortable
talking
about that.
Yeah.
But mental health does go along with addiction.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I have been living sober since 2012.
Good for you.
And I think there are those pivotal moments in your life that maybe wake you up. Mm-hmm. My mom got sick and then she passed away. And before I had my first son, I was 6 months pregnant.
Okay. So, is when your mom passed away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tough. Yeah. You're one person.
Totally.
Right? Mm-hmm. Your mom should be, typically is your person. And so you become very strong. And then suddenly 2 years later, when we had our second son, he was a 3-month newborn, my husband's dad suffered a heart attack at the main, we have Windsor Plywood here.
Sure.
The main Windsor Plywood in Langford in BC. Like, really, like, so then heart health, because he lost his grandfather and his dad, that became a big, you know, and then he suffered from anxiety about it, and then he couldn't sleep, and these things spiral, and then you have new, and I'm not even in the camera, and then I'm making my way out. Then you have new babies, and you're not sleeping, and so for him, it like really spiraled out of control, and it actually snapped. He had a supplier give him a bottle of wine. I had already stopped drinking, and it was just here, so we don't really have it in our house, especially wine, because that's what I used to drink.
All right.
Especially wine, because I was numbing through a good chunk of my life. I don't want to talk about that whole experience right now, but I think it snapped. That's the most anxious and depressed. He's not a big drinker, and he was like, I couldn't sleep the last 2 nights, and I thought if I had this wine, that it would help me sleep tonight. Which he just like unknowingly, and then all of a sudden for 2 weeks before Christmas, he was pale, he was anxious. He's steady. He's a steady mental guy. Like, not a lot gets to him, or he just absorbs it and doesn't say anything about it. But I was like, what is happening? Like, and we have a new baby, and we have like other kids. Like, it's just, it was so hard and challenging. And now at Christmas, every time that son is 8. So for 8 years at the exact same time, the exact same thing happens. And so turning to these addictions, these habits of drinking or drug or marijuana, whatever you're doing, hopefully nothing. I doubt anyone who listening to this podcast, our podcast, is like, I'm into meth. Like, no one. But like, as a wine drinker, of having a few all week and then lots on Friday night, like habit, it's like you're numbing these things, and then your brain's not working, and then you're not living to your fullest self, and then this anxiety, and it can spiral out of control, and then it can affect you for the rest of your life.
It can, which is why I think the stigma of mental health, having to reduce it so people will talk about it and get help, is so vital. We wouldn't be doing Step Up for Mental Health or this Energy Credit Union Sunrise Run 10 years ago. It wouldn't be happening. But we've grown as a community in the last 10 years to now put the spotlight on mental health, to help people who are numbing themselves through life on a Friday night or a Tuesday evening or whatever it is, right? And I mean, you live in a beautiful community in Lloydminster, but you don't know what happens behind the closed doors of your neighbor next door.
So, so my sister stayed here with my kids. We had to go to Edmonton, and she came for a Tuesday night, and she's like, I unplugged all your stuff because she lives downtown. Okay. And runs a business downtown. Sure. And she's like, I couldn't, like, even the sound of your cold plunge, filter running. Yep. She's like, I had to unplug it. She's like, it's so quiet. All right. She's like, there were no sirens, there were no traffic, there was no beeping, there was no, like, it scared me. Interesting. And so she's been living and surrounded by a constant kind of fight or flight situation, and you do become numb to it. Right? We do become unaware and numb to these unhealthy habits. That's correct. You have to step back, hopefully, or have someone in your life help you to see some of that stuff. Because sometimes you can't see what's in front of your face. Yeah. And you need a group of buddies or friends maybe in your life that can be real with you and say, hey, what about this or what about that? And you have to be open to listen to it. Yeah, for sure. Start with trying one of these runs. Yeah, true. And you can walk it. You can pull your kids in a stroller. You can push them. You can do whatever, right? It's for anybody of all ages and abilities. And it's all designed to raise money for mental health. All of it goes to the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation. That's how Steph Monroe's involved. It's all going to be left in the community. Wow. Yeah. So talk about what that day looks like and why it's different from other runs. Yeah, it's going to be very different because it's not competitive.
this isn't a race. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you do it. There's no time limit on it. It's in a normal neighborhood. We're not at Bud Miller Park, which is a great venue, but we're not in a competitive atmosphere. It's all inclusive, all positivity, music, entertainment, all that will be there. So the day will start. It's I'm trying to think of, my brain says Saturday, Sunday. It's a Saturday. Saturday, May 10th. It's the day before Mother's Day. So that's why it's a Saturday. We don't want to be on Mother's Day. So Saturday, May 10th, you roll in, and I think it starts around 10 in the morning. So you'll come around 9 o'clock to Holy Rosary High School. Easy venue, lots of free parking. Roll in, park your car. If you don't have your race bib yet or your run bib yet, you can pick it up that morning. And then you all kind of gather around the start finish line. There'll be all kinds of music playing, feel good stuff. The whole community there for the right reason. Then you'll go out. You can go as slow as fast as you want. You'll wind through the neighborhood around Holy Rosary High School. Roads will be closed. All kinds of marshals out there to make sure it's safe. Come back to the finish line. There'll be entertainment, music, beverages, snacks, all those things. And it's all designed to be raising money for the community. Mm-hmm. That's the entire idea. I don't care if you run it in 14 minutes or you do it in an hour. It is irrelevant. You finished across the finish line the same as everybody else.
You accomplished something.
Totally.
Set a goal and you accomplished 100%.
It. And I know I can see the registrations that have already come in. We have people in their 80s who are registered, and we have people who are 5 years old who have registered. It's a great cross section. And what I really like is, there's a lot of people from Lloyd that are entered, but lots from Eastern Alberta, lots from Western Saskatchewan, people traveling in too. It's going to be a neat little atmosphere. There's going to be signs out on people's lawns encouraging you. There'll be people on the course giving you high fives. It's just a feel-good event to make you feel good about yourself, but help the most vulnerable at the same time, because there are people in this community who need help, which is nice. And all of it stays
all
there.
Those age levels.
Yeah, it's so cool, because we'll say, sure, when we start, we'll say, hey, if you really want to run fast, get up here to the front of the line, right? But the majority of people are going to say, yeah, I'm going to walk run it, or I'm going to be hanging with my grandma back here, or I'm going to be with my 5-year-old in a stroller.
Right.
Heck, all of it's open. It's just a fun time.
So do it for you.
Yes.
Do it for your parent. Do it for your grandma. Do it for your child.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know what running culture is like. Yeah. Right? It's pretty cool having people cheering and high-fiving. I have to say.
That's true.
When you're like almost throwing up at the end of the finish line, which this is not that kind of race.
No.
But like, or, you're about to give up in a run, or you can't make it. Like, people care so much.
Yep. I think this will build just like Step Up for Mental Health built in Saskatoon. We're capping this event. It's not going to be huge. There'll be a few hundred that do this, and on purpose we'll cut it off, because we don't want to overwhelm that neighborhood. Just like we did Step Up for Mental Health, we cut it off its first year and said we're only going to go to a couple thousand. That's it. And each year we've built it higher and higher and higher. And more people come out. They enjoy the vibe. They enjoy the inclusivity of it. I love the fact that nobody judges anybody that day. To be fair, I've done the biggest marathons in the United States. There is judgment at those. You look around going, I'm not that person. I don't look as fast as that person. I'm not wearing fancy gear like that person is. Whatever. That's not the case here.
Right.
It is so cool to be out as just one community. And you said something that's very appropriate. Some people will come not because of themselves. They'll be running because their brother or uncle committed suicide, and this is how they're honoring them. Or they're coming because their daughter at home is really suffering, and they want to come out and meet other people who they can connect with. That's what this is about. This is not about coming and running your fastest 5K ever. Who cares? Come in and just enjoy it and meet people.
I love that. Yeah, because you're affected by mental health, or something has happened to a family member.
It's the part, the run will be entertaining and the run will be fun and all that. What I will also enjoy, though, is the grassroots that will come out of it the next day on Sunday, and then Monday, and then Tuesday. All the people that will post on social and say, they'll get brave, which is wonderful, and they'll expose what their story is. They'll come out and say, I did this. I didn't think I could do it, but I did it for this reason.
Because other people are going through this too.
And they're
not alone.
Correct. And they want to share that, so other people will come out and share the same thing. And that's what we've seen with Step Up in Saskatoon. Each year it continues to snowball, because more and more people are willing to come out because they see that community that they want to be part of.
That is so cool.
Yeah, which is what I love.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Thank you. Thank you for giving back in that way and making it part of
You're the one giving back. This is your house and your podcast.
Yeah. What final question for you, sponsored by Red Bicycle Communications. If you had unlimited funds for one day for your community, what would you do?
All right. That's a very good question. I love that. If I was living in Lloydminster, so if I was living here, which would be different than if I was living in Saskatoon. If I was living here, I was fortunate to work with Cameco for 14, 15 years based out of Saskatoon, and my job was community investment with Cameco. So I got to see hundreds of not-for-profits and charities. It was a phenomenal job with great people. It's very unique in Lloydminster. The Lloydminster Region Health Foundation not only gives to healthcare here, but as you know, gives to all kinds of other charities, right? It's your one-stop shop. If I had unlimited money for one day, I would sit down in their office in downtown Lloydminster with Steph and say, okay, where can we be the most effective with this pile of money? Where can we spread it on the spider web to go to the people who need it the most?
Yeah.
Because to be fair, if you really want to dig in this city, like in any other city, there are incredibly vulnerable people that are right in front of you that you don't see.
Right.
They are hurting. They don't know where they're going or what they're doing. And a separate part of my life, I'm on the board of the Friendship Inn in Saskatoon. That's the soup kitchen in Saskatoon. It offers free breakfast and lunch every single day, 365 days of the year. I've been on that board for 6 years. It is the most vulnerable people in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
They have no food. A lot of them have no homes, and they're coming to be somewhere warm and get fed. Those are the people that need the help in this community.
Yeah.
And they're just invisible to so many. So people like you are helping them.
And inspiring through example is very important too.
Yep.
Right?
No, so true. I mean, you talk about our kids. I mean, you try to inspire your children to say, hey, maybe look at doing this in your life. Maybe look at giving back. One of my daughters, she gives back every year to the food bank at Christmas time, takes her own money, goes to the grocery store, buys the most important things for the food bank and donates them. Those are the things you want to see out of your kids, right?
Yeah.
And you'll see that with your kids.
Yeah. There is a very interesting book that I just wanted to bring up that I thought of.
Not the one that you painted over.
No, didn't paint over. I think I lent it out. Yeah, it hasn't come back yet. It's Moment of Lift, I think it's called, by Melinda Gates. So she has 20 years of data and research. And if we're going to trust some data.
Yeah, we're going to go there.
Yeah. All over the world. Like they've eradicated, they've almost eradicated polio, which is incredible. Big goal for them, which a lot of people, you know, like to villainize them in a way, but they have made some really cool goals globally. Totally. If you do a little bit of research, if you're a self-learner and you're interested. But she has in this book, and I've talked to some BioClean Lloydminster, great example. They had the same goals. They didn't get this from this book or see that data. They just, they must have learned it in a different way. Very intelligent couple who owns and runs it. And big travelers, etc. So very knowledgeable and passionate and give back to the community. And we've talked about this too, but lifting up women and children. So investing in women and children in your community, which globally we've seen slide worse than it was. But there's 20 years of data in this book where she's uplifted like the lowest of lows of women and children. So sex workers in these countries. And if you invest there, that is the chance to revitalize community. Because if a mother is struggling, how can their children thrive? Or, you know, in those cases, or if the mother has an addiction, like likely, and we're saying statistically here, I'm not saying it's the only case, there are single fathers, etc. But if you have a mom who's working nights and is sleeping during the day or whatever, like how is she supposed to, you know, whatever situation. So they've actually seen the 20 years of research of investing there and it revitalizing the whole community. So it's pretty cool. I'd love to see some parents out, you know, bring your whole family in this.
Maybe the best way to end the podcast is you're 1000% correct. We started it by talking about how I wouldn't be able to operate the company without my wife, but she has a regular day job. I would say tongue in cheek, but it's very true. She works at the YWCA Saskatoon, which is the women's shelter in Saskatoon. Talk about vulnerable people and the impacts that they make in the community. the gingerbread run, which happens every year in Saskatoon, that Brain Sports started, I'm now fortunate to operate. All the money goes to the YWCA. That event sells out every year. And one of the reasons is because the money goes where it needs to go, which is the YWCA Saskatoon. And every year you see the stories, and we'll see this in Lloydminster with the Sunrise Run. If you can just peel back the onion, you'll see some of the people in the event and you'll go, wow, look at their story. In Step Up for Mental Health, every year there are women from that shelter at the YWCA that participate. People pay for them to go in that event just so they can do something in the community. And they're great people to follow.
The power of giving back. Like, you may be in a vulnerable situation and then you may get out of it.
Yep.
And then their impact into the world after, because someone gave back to them.
Totally.
It's what was that movie where he gave back to all the people with the little kid? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. But
with Kevin, come on, names. I'm really great with names.
It'll come to you when we're done.
It will. Such a great movie. Oh, it will. And I'll put it in the notes. Great. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for taking the time to pop by.
Absolutely.
And I will put the sign-up link in the notes.
Wonderful.
May 10th.
Here.
Or is early registration done?
No, early registration. Special pricing is still open till the middle of next month.
Okay.
They'll have a chance to see some great people in the community. Thank you for registering. I know you have.
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, you haven't yet?
I will.
Oh, look at that.
Today, probably.
I gave you an advance plug.
Teddy's not here, so I'll have the chance to actually sit down for 4 seconds and register our family.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll see if we can get my husband out. He refuses.
Oh, really?
He had knee surgery, but I know he can run.
He can walk it. It doesn't matter.
He just refuses. Like,
interesting.
Weird. Can you bike? Can you bring your bike?
We will absolutely have people quietly on their bike if they would like to.
Okay, but not a huge biking thing, because that takes up space.
Yeah, we don't want a bike parade for obvious reasons, for safety reasons.
Right.
But if you absolutely need to have a bike or a
for kids to go that far, they need a bike. Some little
That's
kids,
why it's
right?
inclusive. 100%.
Yeah. My other kids also, they make me mad because I go running 4 times a week.
Yep.
I'm like, want to come? And I've seen them at the drop of a hat during the color run every year for their school.
Sure.
Which is so fun. The fire team comes out and like sprays the kids with water, which I think they secretly enjoy, almost knocking kids over with water pressure.
Yes.
And soaking them.
Yeah. But they can run
they don't knock them over. They did, but I just got soaked last year. It was like, woo, this is like a cold plunge run. So I've seen them run 5K at the drop of a hat, and it makes me so. I'm like, come on, everyone, let's go, because you're addicted, and you just want everyone to feel the same feeling. So hopefully we can get people out feeling that same feeling that we have this joy in our lives. By the way, I'm not a marathoner. I've tried it.
Oh, you did try it?
Oh yeah, I'm not for me.
How far did you get?
I only did half.
Good for you.
Yeah. So, and I just prefer to not.
I prefer to not listen to you. But it's not your thing. That's okay.
No, it's not my thing. But it's very it's Brittany's thing, and she's so dedicated, and it's her passion, and it's because I have so many passions and obsessions that I know where I want to put my time. As an adult, you can choose, right? Yep. So you don't have to be a marathoner. You can just be a walker or a runner. Yep. Sometimes I walk in the evening just to see the sunset. You know what I mean?
Totally. And you said you're in Pilates now. I would embarrass myself.
No, not Pilates, yoga.
Yoga, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My wife is taking me to yoga.
Pilates is too hard.
I'm the embarrassment of yoga. So good for you. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I like the mental part of yoga. It's really good.
Can you stand on your head?
Yeah. Yes, I do handstands. I do a handstand every day just to get better.
Holy smokes.
Reverse your blood flow.
I'd break my neck.
My sister owns a yoga studio downtown.
Oh,
okay. So that's why she's down there.
Makes sense.
I should go more for the fact that I get free yoga. It's pretty bad. But it's a beautiful space filled with plants, and she does a gorgeous job. Again, a very big mental health pillar for our community. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandy Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit. And I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe, and check the rest of our channel.
If you want to feel empowered and inspired, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to get creative, check out all our art hacks on this channel.